Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Wow, welcome to Empower. This is a program that focuses on people and workplace. My name is Beatrice Chuchu, and I'm glad that you're together with us today and you've decided to watch this program. Please call others to join us. We are on Facebook, we are on Elevate TV, we are on YouTube. You can follow us and even invite us to continue to learn. And we say that in Empower, we want to learn every day so that you can become better and better. And this program focuses both formal and informal setup. So if you're employed, this is the right place to be. If you're not employed but working or you're doing your own things, it's the right place to be. If you're employed in the formal setup, you're good to go. If you're employed in an informal setup, and you're in the market there selling things, or you are somewhere, this is the right program for you. And we keep learning to become better every day. And today I'm joined by a beautiful lady here. She's Terry, and she's a HR professional. Terry, welcome, and introduce yourself to us.
Thank you so much, Beatrice.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here. Terry Micheni is my beautiful name, an HR practitioner with over 13 years of experience counting in different industries. If I start mentioning the industries today, we might take a bit of time.
Yes.
But people business is my day-to-day business. Thank you.
Beautiful. So in HR is general. Okay. Maybe you can tell us more, maybe a bit specific on areas of your focus.
HR has evolved for quite some bit. There are those old days that HR was more of personnel. Management. And that is where the statement that is very common that HR are hiring and firing managers.
Yes.
But it has since evolved from that. Yes, during the days that it was people personnel management, that was the key role for HR practitioners. But you realize that today there are different names that are being given to HR professionals. We have happiness officers.
Happiness officers.
We have people and culture. We have human capital. It's because people or the organizations or the state we are in as human, we've realized that people are not just to be managed. You cannot manage personnel. And there's more to it than just hiring and firing. Maybe of interest right now, what is coming out very, very big today is wellness champions. So HR, first of all, I would like to start with that. HR practitioners are the wellness champions in the organizations, and they had functions like employee relations, performance management. But some of these functions that we mention about HR is not, they are not purely for HR. The HR just supports.
You're right.
But then people will just say performance management HR. But how do I do performance management for an accountant if I'm not an accountant?
You're not an accountant.
So, but we just support. But for all of that is just making the environment for the organization, a place where you realize we spend more of our work time in the workplaces.
That is true.
So the main role of the HR practitioner is to make that environment that people spend most of their time more comfortable to live in. With all processes and functions mentioned, that is actually all processes, all policies are to make the environment conducive.
Wow. Beautiful. She has mentioned something about environment being conducive. And that is where we start today, because today our discussion is on the issue of toxic environment, workplace, toxic employees, toxic, and it's all over in the marketplace, it's all over in the social media. And Terry, people have been talking about toxic work environment. And today our focus mainly may not be the full thing because it's quite wide, but to be looking at this toxic employee. But for us to understand what is toxic, because when people think of toxic, they hear, there are words that come up. I'm not treated well. they don't listen to me, they shout at me. So when you talk about toxic environment or toxic employee, what exactly are we talking about?
First of all, we need to appreciate the fact that this is a topic that has attracted quite a bit of discussion.
Yes.
And I'm happy that it is coming out that way. Why? Because people have also appreciated the role or the impact wellness, the well-being of a human being. Is that's why this topic, toxic environment, toxic work culture, toxic, you know, everything toxic in workplaces is gaining a lot of attraction.
Yes.
What it is the question here.
Yes.
And anything can be mentioned as toxic. You know, people talk about toxic even when it is not per se toxic. In terms of if my values, my personal values are not aligning with the organization, I will more likely to say, hey, I'm in a very toxic environment. But it is not basically very toxic, but it's just that my personal values, my purpose, personal purpose, my what drives me is not matching with what is happening in the organization. But basically toxic is whereby the atmosphere within the organization presents a lot of negativity, a lot of mental torture, a lot of mental uneasiness, psychological, you know, restlessness. Yes. Where you feel like this is not, I'm not happy, I'm not okay. And these are discussions that will talk very much with the wellness, mental wellness discussions that also are very rampant nowadays. So toxic environment is an environment that is presenting a lot of negativity, psychological, because human being are, you know, there's a lot of psychological drive that leads a normal human being. So what is affecting your psychological and emotional space, and it is not bringing out the best out of you, will automatically be termed as a toxic environment. But then there are those some of small behaviors that present that leads to the environment being mentioned as toxic. Talk about bullying. Talk about gossips.
Yes.
You know, gossips.
Yes.
Talk about backbiting. Talk about a leader or a manager or a supervisor who is always suppressing their employees. An environment where freedom of speech or, you know, there's no that feel like I am connected with the space.
Yes.
So those some of the behaviors that present themselves in a toxic environment here.
Wow, amazing. I don't want to lose a point that you've talked about, when it comes to values. I'm a person who believes so much in values, because the moment the values of the organization don't align with my values as an employee, they're definitely going to be conflict. And you said something very important, that some people may misunderstand toxic environment when their values are not aligned to the organization. So that tells me someone may be not very clear about their values. You know, I'm thinking, because sure what I stand for, and that is why I'm complaining if the organization goes this side, or I'm not sure, or the organization is not very clear about what they expect of me as an employee. So in case this thing is asked of me, I realize, this should not be asked. It's like I'm facing, why are you asking this from me? Why are you expecting me to behave like this? And if I knew, or if my values were aligning, I should not be having a problem.
Very true. Very true.
And also when you think about this toxic, and you'll talk about it, is now the environment becomes negative. And mostly becomes negative because of people.
Very true. Very, very true. People.
Yes.
People. Not individual. Yeah, you know, people are made out of individuals.
Yes, individuals.
It's one person who is toxic, or one thing that is toxic, then it gives birth, or it mutates to become a whole environment of toxicity. Yeah.
And it's quite important to note that one person can really mess an organization.
Very, very true. Actually, that's why it starts. When we talk about environment, it's not just something that comes and drops in the organization.
Yes.
It's a behavior from one person
Yes.
that starts from an individual, mutates itself
Yes.
to two people. They form a clique, they form a group
Yes.
within the organization. Then eventually it becomes the organizational behavior. Yeah, and there's something that you're just asking about, the values.
Yes.
You are very right. Some people do not even know what
Yes.
their personal values are.
Yes.
And that's it's a very dangerous space to be in, because even when you're looking for a job, maybe you're looking for a job, or you are looking to change the organization you're working for.
Yes.
The first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what are my personal values? What drives me? What is my purpose?
Yes.
And then try to understand if the organization that you are prospecting or you are looking to join aligns with your values,
Yes.
with your personality, what drives you.
Yes.
When you're able to understand who you are as a person, then you will be able to know if where I'm going or the organization I'm looking to join will accommodate me with my values.
Yes.
Because this clashing, this conflict of values is commonly mistaken as toxic environment. People have also mistaken toxic environment by excess workload.
Yes.
We are not talking about unreasonable. You know, there's excess and unreasonable.
Yeah, there's
workload.
unreasonable.
There's
yes.
once in a while in any organization you find yourself you are met by, you have to meet some deadlines.
Yes.
There's quite a bit of work that need to be done, and those small episodes might make someone conclude and step out to talking a lot of negativity that it is a toxic environment.
Yes.
It is just a an episode of that time.
Yes.
But then how do we treat employees during that season of excess workload? Can now turn the event, turn the coin the other way. It's not excess workload, but now how we treat or how then employees are appreciated during this period, that there is that season of, the excess workload or some uneasiness within the organization.
Yes.
It's not just excess workload, even where there change within the organization. How you treat the employees forms the discussion, if it is toxic or not.
Well, amazing, because sometimes we are maybe thinking about when we have excess workload, maybe there's audit taking place, there are some deadlines that come once in a while, and most of the time we know about them. We know this season.
It's a peak season.
Yeah, it's a peak season. Yeah, it's a peak season. And someone will just come up and complain, and if not taken care of, it can start spreading and showing the other people this is not really right. How comes they have to wait for this time and then they come and tell us we cannot leave, we have to work late at night, even if they are giving us cabs, and it starts building slowly. It becomes a discussion. It becomes a discussion, and you're right when you say that how you handle them within that period. Whereby you require them to be there more time, extra time, maybe have to come so early, leave late. How you handle people that time matters a lot. So that is taken as positive, and also appreciation that is not all the time we have to be here. And we appreciate that you've gone also to such an extent of giving us your extra time to be in the organization, even when you're not supposed to be, so that you can avoid this grooming of, something coming up and it's coming up and starting to grow to become something different. We need to take a short break, just a minute, and we get back. I believe you're learning from us, and please, we want to have very conducive work environment, and that is why we have to learn about this toxic thing so that we can escape from it. My name is Beatrice. Chuchu, don't go far. Welcome back. This is Empower. We focus on people and workplace. And today we are discussing about toxicity in an organization. And we are saying it's actually people that bring it up. So environment is all about people. And that is how it starts. Now, what are the effects of having this? When you have toxic environment, what is the impact?
There is the impact
Yes.
towards the organization
and towards
the people.
the people.
themselves.
Yes.
As we've said,
Yes.
toxicity starts from an individual,
Yes.
then goes to an environment.
Yes.
And then that's when we talk about toxic culture.
Toxic cultures. Yes. Yeah.
When we talk about toxic culture, it's culture. Actually, you are building up or inculcating a space where the values of that organization, the policies, the structures are not ethical. Yeah? Are not morally ethical to create or to live in.
Yes.
And when you have a toxic, when you now breed these individuals or these behaviors from individuals to the entire organization, and you form up a group or a culture within the organization that is toxic, they are all negative things that happen out of a toxic culture. Talk about the attrition rates going high, the turnover, the employee turnover. You cannot keep a good or potential employees within an organization because nobody wants someone who is sober enough, someone who love themselves. A discussion that we'll have maybe in future about appreciating who you are as a person and knowing what you deserve as a person. But anyway, we are not going very far. The generation that we have right now, the Gen Zs have told us and have shown us the reality of people understanding who they are, what they need. So when you have this toxic culture within the organization, you will lose these employees. Productivity levels go down. Remember we said it's something, the toxic environment or culture brings some emotional torture, psychological uneasiness. So someone who is mentally unhealthy or mentally ill, because clearly it is mental illness.
It's mental.
Will not be able to produce, is not as productive as someone who is more engaged. The productivity goes down. So what that means, the returns to the organization. The performance will go down. The reputation of that organization go down. So eventually you'll not even be able to attract good talent. By good luck, you attract one, but they will leave the next day or within a short time. The cost of replacing these exits and the cost that you, as an organization, you bear out of a toxic, because that is caused through by the toxic environment that you're in, is too heavy to to hold. So it is just right that the organization be intentional in creating a conducive and an enabling work environment that people, they will be able to maintain, to retain people, to attract, retain, and even be champions, even at the point of exit or even when they are within the organization. But what about the individuals? As we have this discussion, we talked about the culture. We have talked about, the culture has the branches of the leadership, poor leadership, poor policies or misaligned policies and structures. And we have this branch of culture where you have disengaged employees. Most of the time when disengaged employees will be toxic. So these employees who are toxic, when you are toxic as an employee, you bring in toxic behaviors within the organization, but you also fall a victim of the same. You will definitely fall a victim of the same. So to the employee, one thing, whatever cause or whatever has influenced the toxic environment, employees or individuals will feel, as you said, mental instability. They will not be sober. They will not be. They will not retain their sanity when they are doing their day-to-day work. And that, of course, will bring them poor performance. What comes with poor performance? Low self-esteem. People will start experiencing, that thinking of tomorrow on a Sunday evening you have automatic edicts. You dread. You don't want to feel like tomorrow, Monday morning, I will get to work. You know, you have, but then you have bills to pay. So you have to what happens when you get there? Headaches. You know, basically your mental space is already damaged or it's already ill. You start seeing people coming to work late, intoxicated, and you know, sometimes, as you said, you asked about HR. Some of us were very fast in concluding on the action. You know, without understanding what cause, the root cause of whatever behavior that you are seeing in the organization. I actually always advise people, before even you action, even on disciplinary of the employees, start asking the 5 whys. You know, the Kaizen way, ask the 5 whys for you to get to the root cause. You might realize that it is your environment that is causing the behaviors that is happening. So these employees who are exposed in this toxic environment, productivity will go down, their self-esteem will go down, they will start having sicknesses, you know, the mental illness symptoms that you see in a normal, not only, and actually toxicity is not just in the workplace, any relationship. Remember, workplace is a relationship between the employer and the employee. So if you're in any toxic relationship and you end up having mental illness, it doesn't work. You lose yourself. You lose yourself in the process. And when you lose yourself, you even lose any other relationship, potential relationship, including getting a job to another organization. You do not feel confident because it has drained your psychological self. We have sicknesses. We talked about headaches, with insomnia. You know, so there is all negative things that comes with mental illnesses that emanate from a toxic relationship or a toxic environment that you are in. But remember, toxicity is actually contagious. That one actually, it is contagious. If you stay, you see how we tell people, always engage or involve yourself with positive-minded people, positive attitude people. If you continue or stay for long in a toxic environment, sooner maybe sooner you will be like they say. You will, in fact, it becomes the new norm. If you surround yourself with toxic people, you at some time sooner you just feel like this is the way of life. This is how things are. This is how people are dressed. This is how people are bullied. For you to get to a position, you must bully. You have to, you know, to secure your way. But at the end of the day, is it healthy? Is it even godly? It's not. It's not, So it is good to appreciate the fact that we are, from whatever level of management that we are, from maybe it be your leader, your manager, from whatever space, look at another individual as a person. Even before she came in as an HR or as an accountant or as an IT person, they have a whole other lifestyle or a whole life beyond workspace. That's true. They have lives that they're taking care of them. They are taking care of or looking at them. They have maybe their fathers, their husbands, their brothers, their sisters. You know, there's life. And these are people beyond. Before I became an HR, I was a mother, I was a sister, I was a daughter to someone. So that lack of understanding and taking human being as human, not just resources. That's why you see this evolvement of HR. Resource is becoming more of, you know, money is resource. You know, the capital that people inject into the organization. So if you put human as also like the same as those, human are people with feelings, with emotions, like yourself as a leader. So in every setup, in every relationship, it is just twice that people look at other individuals as people like them. Who needs care, who needs, you know, that care from another person, and putting humanity. We are saying that nowadays we are putting H in the human capital, in the human resource. H in the name of humanity. And when we all do that and realize that it is individuals who have feelings, who are families.
Yes.
Actually, I was telling someone the other day, when you approach a man, I'm a millennial myself.
Yes.
I've worked with the boomers. You know, and sometimes I get myself into a situation that I have to deal. Yes. You know, like disciplinary.
Yes.
As much as there are processes, and I'll put in the process, the disciplinary process in this. I have to appreciate the fact that maybe he's a man. He's a man. Maybe he's a leader in their community. He may not even be a leader. He may be he's a father to maybe daughters and sons of my age. You know, there is that respect of humanity that we need to put in place, so that then we put. When we have that respect of humanity, these issues, toxic work environment, will actually go away.
Wow.
Because it is just that lack of appreciating who human being is in an environment that brings in that, you know, that those kind of behaviors like bullying, gossip, you know, suppressing others, fault finding. You know, there are people who are always looking at the fault.
Yes,
why
all
are
the
you
time.
Looking at the fault? I tell people, just try to look something positive, even where, even actually, even in death, Beatrice, even in death, you can look, you can pick what's more positive.
What is positive in that?
And you know, build that one so that then you cannot always be someone looking at the negative things only, because when you're negative minded, you'll definitely spread that negativity to everybody else who's surrounding you.
Wow, amazing. I know we should be finishing this program. It's quite interesting to hear and even to appreciate that aspect of humanity is very key and very strong, and appreciating each other person as a human being, and they have their respect. It doesn't matter the age. And appreciating that and deal with them with that understanding. I know we'll continue with the self-reflection next program, but maybe what you're parting short to our viewers.
Work environment is a space that we spend most of our times, of our week time. This space that we spend most of our time, we have to make it conducive. And it has to start with me. It has to start with you as a person. Understanding of what you want and what you deserve as a person is key. So that then we say what you're not changing, you're choosing. So if you see you're in an environment that is not very well accommodating, you can either decide to choose, to change that environment. If you're in a position to change, try to change that environment, or look for ways to navigate in that environment.
True.
And trying to navigate does not mean you lose yourself into it. Just look for means of navigating in that environment, so that then you can still maintain your soberness, your sanity while at it. But if things do not work, you cannot change that, you are not able to manage the situation or manage the environment, then it is just wise that you look for an exit plan.
Thank you, Terry. That was quite interesting. And next week we are going to look at self-reflection and see, am I the person who is toxic?
Exactly.
I believe that you've learned today, and we look forward to have very great work environments, and we're going to make that work for us. My name is Beatrice Chuchu. This has been Empower. God bless you. See you next.